So, completing the Shigen and Vega duel events reduces them both to 1 HP, which obviously is a bad thing. Make sure you heal them before sending them out into battle. However, they do gain a 10% mutual support with each other, which is really nice, and Shigen gets a small mutual support with Krishna. Now, interesting thing about Shigen and Krishna, and I guess going over here I can use Sylphid for the first time, because this will one-shot this guy. I am having to redo this chapter, though, due to, when you see the fail channel, the reason why I failed this chapter is just painful, and yeah, I don't want to spoil it. Also, I'm pretty sure Vini Sylph, which is just Come Sylph, is not from the Bible. But there is actually a sequence of events that can lead to Shigen and Krishna becoming romantically involved in the epilogue. However, I don't think it involves this event. I think it's actually something else that triggers it. I could be wrong about that, and this event could be a prerequisite to that triggering event later, but I don't know. I feel like from what I've read and from what I've researched, the Shigen hooks up with Krishna event is actually something separate. Yeah, Krishna's the center of quite a few story events, and really that's the main thing she's good for. She's pretty awful otherwise. But at least she gave Shigen and Vega a mutual support. Okay, now let's see. There's a bow guy there, but at the same time, Sasha and some others will be able to, yeah, they'll be able to get in there without being shot by him. This chapter's really not that bad. Like, there's a whole bunch of enemies here. They're all really, really weak, so you don't need to worry too much about, that guy. Let me just see what I do here. Because I know that guy has a killing edge. I probably want to get rid of him as a first priority. And the Pylum does one round him with Sasha, but she could miss. And that also could potentially miss. Is there any more reliable way I can take that guy out? I'm guessing no. Because, yeah, Martel doesn't double him. In fact, she has less attack speed than he does. Yeah, I'm going to have to attempt this with Sasha. But I should be able to get her out of archer range. So let's see if I can... I'll use the Pylum because it'll work and it has 1 point higher accuracy for some reason. Speaking of Pylums, you can buy them in this chapter. So Pylums are pretty readily available and they're also really cheap as well as being good. Also, that guy drops a killing edge, which is... I'm gonna actually give that to Sasha right now because that has... Killer weapons have really high accuracy by the standards of this game, so that's going to be pretty useful to Sasha because she can have accuracy issues. Her skill is not the best. Okay, so keep placing those flags everywhere. I think Samson will go over this direction and just do this. Some people have said that, like, Samson's stats are really good and his growths are good, but the main thing that makes him so good this early on is the Killer Axe. It's just such a great weapon. High accuracy for an axe, not that heavy, it's only got 1 weight more than an iron axe, and a lot of axe users can use it. Its mastery isn't too high. It also looks pretty cool in terms of its menu image, so I'll just show that there. Now that guy has an armor slayer. Now I did have an idea to try and set that guy up for Mahen to take him out, but I don't know if that's going to be viable. Usually when that guy gets weakened, he tends to retreat to that house to heal. From what I find. Oh yeah, and I need to desperately remember that I have to heal these two. I suppose Zeno can try and take out this guy. I just also realized I will need to keep that silver sword intact because unfortunately, okay, so there's a side quest that's coming up a little later and it does require you to... I had a feeling he was going to miss if I didn't use the silver sword. But yeah, it requires you to give up a silver sword, which I personally don't think is worth it at all. Well, actually, the thing that you get out of giving up the silver sword is decent, but there are later parts of the side quest that are definitely not worth it, but I'm going to have to show them anyway for completeness. Well, I'm not going to show the whole side quest. I'm sorry I'm being vague here, it'll all make sense later, but... It requires you to give up some very good items for not a ton of benefit. Defense is nice, but she actually gained strength twice in my earlier attempt at this chapter, which is kind of painful to not see happen this time. So, Vega has a fruit. How ironic, he gave one to Julia to have her heal after their duel, but now he's using one himself to heal after his own duel. And I'm going to remember to heal Shigen. I'm going to partially do that event. It's sort of like an item trading quest, but like one part of it requires you to give up a brave sword to get something that in my opinion is not worth it at all. I mean, it's a decent reward, but I would much rather keep the brave sword. But I need to do it in order to unlock the option to do a later part of the event that is as far as I'm willing to take it. There's some other things you can get with the event if you take it even further than that, but I'm just not going to do that because it's just really, really... you end up having to give up some really good stuff, and that guy drops a money bag, which is actually one of the items that you need to give up for the event. So I'm going to have to keep one of those, though I will want to sell a lot of money bags later, because there is going to be, coming up, there's going to be a bit of a situation where money bags will be... Well, I'm going to want a lot of money, basically. Also, Krishna, I haven't done that yet. I'm going to just hang on a second while I check ranges so she doesn't die. So I'm going to do something with her here. I'm going to have her dump her entire inventory into the convoy because I'm not going to use her. It's annoying that I'm basically down a deployment slot for this map, but the only reason I brought her was to trigger the duel, and other than that, I'm just not going to use her for anything, but I want to keep that main gaunch for later. This enemy phase theme is really interesting that it's being used now of all times. It's actually called Wind Across the Plains, so I guess Saga did the name of that song first. But yeah, it's an enemy phase theme, not a player phase theme. And it just, like, hearing Wind Across the Plains just keeps reminding me that there's, it's really strange. So there's, okay, so... By the way, I'm going to have Holmes go over here so he avoids the Mahen zone. Can I weaken you with, like, a wooden bow? I do 11 times 2. I might crit or do something, but I guess I'll try this. Back when I used to watch Shadow of Chaos, one of his co-commentators, there was a running gag that he seemed to really hate the song Wind Across the Plains, and they'd always just bring it up to troll him. I don't know why somebody would hate that song, because, like, it's... I mean, I don't think it's the greatest Fire Emblem song ever, but it's perfectly inoffensive, in my opinion. I know that also one of his co-commentators really didn't like Lyn, and he hated Lyn before it was cool, but I guess I can talk about that later, because for now, if Mahen can, by some miracle, hit this guy, I'll get his Armor Slayer. Oh, yeah, well, that was inevitable. Oh well. And now, unfortunately, I have to try and kill this guy, while also having to deal with the Mahen zone. So, yeah, everybody who is within 3 spaces of Mahen loses 50% to their accuracy and evasion. And I love how in-universe, it's implied that this is just because everyone hates him. And again, if we check his stats here, yeah, Katri. Katri is his only support because Katri is literally the only person in the army who doesn't hate him. Which I just find that kind of hilarious. I mean, Katri doesn't hate anyone, so that's the only reason why. Okay, so I can actually kill you with the Killing Edge without needing to use a Levin Sword or anything stronger. Or I could use a Steel Sword, because although accuracy is a little bit shot that way. I mean, that's not the worst accuracy in the world, but I'd rather have this. Yeah, let's do that. Sasha's getting really close to level 20, that's why I've given her an Occult Book. I love that you can use that on unpromoted classes. It's just something that I didn't really think about when I first played the game, but sort of makes sense. And yeah, her speed is completely overkill, but it actually means that despite her low strength, she's actually pretty good offensively. She can one-round a lot of things because she's basically guaranteed to double anything in the game. Now, who here has... Okay, yeah, Shigen, no, not Shigen, Vega. They're going to be interchangeable to me after the duel now, but, I mean, Samson could try. That's not doubling, though. He'd double with an Iron Axe, but I don't want to use an Iron Axe. And yeah, my accuracy against you is horrendous. But I will double at least, and if I do hit with one of those, then he does die, so I can try it. It's basically 2 coin flips, since there's no true hit in this game. And then 50 is around the point where true hit would disappear. Yeah, that was probably gonna happen. I really don't want to have to use Vega, but I'm probably going to. That I'm probably going to need to, I mean. I guess you can just flutter around there, maybe? Because that guy's not going to be able to get to you, and that archer's not going to be able to get to you. I'm going to spread out my Pegasus Knights and have one on either side. I don't want to use Vega. I really don't want to have to use Vega for this. Yeah, Xeno's not going to do well. I think I may have to use Vega. Yeah, the Killing Edge has the best accuracy here. And yeah, this hopefully should do it. If Vega double misses here, that's going to be really, really annoying. Well, he did the exact opposite of missing. And just like in Fire Emblem, if you crit, it means you've hit. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I still just can't believe it's such a persistent rumor in Fire Emblem that, oh, I've seen a critical hit miss before, so criticals can totally miss, right? Like, there was a lot of issues with that regarding Randall's, one of Randall's skills in Echoes, because the skill works a bit like Gamble in Path of Radiance, in that it lowers your accuracy but increases crit rate, and everyone's like, oh, well that means that Randall can, you know, get a critical animation but still miss, but no, that's not how it works. And then there's also a similar issue regarding Selena in, I almost said 3 houses. Wow, Selena in 3 houses, that'd be weird. But yeah, Selena in Fates and her competitive skill, which says, like, if her support partner crits, then she's guaranteed to crit too, provided she hits. And the provided that she hits part confused a lot of people, but, I mean, it does mean that, like, if she has 10% accuracy and her support partner crits, she'll still only hit and critical 10% of the time. But anyway, there's a bit of a cluster of enemies. One of the guys down here, yeah, this guy has a Gritlance. And I might want to try and, well, I mean, I would say I'd try and steal it with Mahen, but I doubt that will work. I just don't really see that working. Mahen is still really interesting, though. He's like a, I call him difficult but awesome. It takes a lot of setup to get him to actually kill things, but if he does kill things, he gets all their stuff, and you can potentially get some really good items that you otherwise wouldn't have much access to via him. So, yeah, he's... I don't think he's actually that useless. I mean, as a full combat unit, he's one of the worst in the game, possibly the worst next to Krishna. I mean, Krishna may actually be the outright worst combat unit in the entire game, in my opinion, but... Like, there are some people who join near the end of the game who I still think can at least contribute at their base stats slightly. Yeah, Krishna is just like... I get why they made her the way she is, though, because I get the feeling that a full-on combat unit who's capable of stealing might have been broken, so I can understand that, but at the same time, it is still kind of like, yeah, she's really bad. But again, she does trigger a lot of events. And I do like giving Sasha the Mastery Potion. It means that she can compensate for her bad strength with good, you know, good weapons. I'll still equip that Killer Axe. We can actually buy Killer Axes relatively soon, so you don't need to worry too much about using up the one that Samson comes with. Holmes actually does need to make his way up to there, because that is where, he can trigger a useful event. I suppose I'll try and iron bow this guy a little bit, and then Xeno might be able to finish him. I just realized, though, that Xeno is just objectively worse than Vega in terms of raw stats at this point, but yeah, I still like him. Okay, let's see, you're down to 15 now. I can attempt to Steel Sword. I do 9 times 2, or the silver. I mean, I suppose I don't need to worry too much about the uses of the silver sword if I'm going to be forced to give it up later anyway. I'm probably not going to do that during this act of the game, though, because you can come back to it later during, I guess I'll say, Holmes's... I mean, technically this is actually Act 2, so that would be Holmes's Act 3 that you can come back for it later. Because I guess I mean, I don't know if this is too much of a spoiler, but there are multiple route splits. I said route split 1 for a reason. So we'll get another opportunity to swap characters between Runen and Holmes. Well, I suppose we can take out this archer to make this area a little bit more of a, I guess, yes fly zone. But just in case something bad happens, I'll give you Dullahan, because in my earlier attempt of this, I almost had an accident with Shigen, because that mage with... He has not gained strength at all since the start of the game. I mean, he's still good, but yeah. This guy right here, this Thunder Bishop, he almost killed Shigen, and I didn't have Dullahan equipped, so that would have been really bad. I got lucky and he missed. Where should... I suppose Vega should head this way because Shigen is that way, and I can make use of their nice 10% support. I would like a mastery proc on Shigen, but let's... I suppose I can visit this house. I do really miss village music, though. I think it only was done in Marth's games and in this one, because I don't think it was in Genealogy. Maybe it was. So we're getting a little bit of backstory on the area here. We've heard the name Viceroy Ahab before, but we're just recently learning that he killed the king, and now this town has become a wretched hive of scum and villainy. It's cliche, but it's true. But Holmes is going to be a hero and save this place. So, not a hammer and staff, but it is just a smith's hammer. It can repair any weapon that is not legendary. Or if we check its actual description here... Yeah, you just barely can't get into range, which is good. If we check its description, can repair any non-filled-in star / filled-in star weapon or staff. So, like, Dullahan is a non-filled-in star, that's also a non-filled-in star. I don't think we'll actually be seeing a filled-in star weapon for a long time. But there's also some other weapons that can become star, and I don't know if they can get affected by the repair hammer or not. I'm not 100% sure, because it's a mechanic that I don't know a lot about, because it's one of the weirdest mechanics in this game, and I'm actually going to have to talk about it during this map. I've been looking forward to this. It's something that I alluded to much, much earlier in the game. But I'll just say that for now. I'll finally get to talk about how it works exactly here, because one of the houses, in fact it's one that Sasha's in range of, relates to this mechanic. Samson is level 10, that's actually great, strength is good, and magic. He actually gained magic in my previous attempt at this, so I don't know what's with Samson gaining magic at this point, but at least it's nowhere near as bad as Oscar wanting to become a mage knight in my Path of Radiance playthrough. Okay, Martel's not doing so great in the damage department, although she did have a pretty bad weapon equipped. I don't think Shigen's gonna die this turn, and normally that's a good thing, but at the same time, some people in the comments have said that my sense of humor with Shigen is kind of dark, but it's just like, it's I don't really consider it, it's more like, I don't know, like, I don't really think too hard about the prospect of Shigen actually experiencing death every time. I think of it more like, you know, those characters like Captain Jack and Doctor Who and other such characters who just die repeatedly and it's kind of played for laughs and they've kind of grown used to it. But yeah, I mean, I do know that in-universe, Shigen probably does feel the pain of dying every time, and that's horrifying, but again, at the same time, in gameplay, I still find it kind of hilarious. The fact that you have a character who can die repeatedly with no real consequence other than using uses of a legendary weapon, which you can quite easily repair, and it does kind of have a monopoly on repairs, because there aren't a ton of weapons, like Dire Thunder maybe, but to be honest, by the point in the game where Dire Thunder is starting to run out, you probably don't need it anymore. At least that's what I think. Okay, I guess I can move Vega in a little closer. I mean, he's kind of strong, like, he's a little over-leveled for this point as it is. In fact, I think everyone's over-leveled for this point. I'm gonna just try, just because, why not? Yeah, having someone you can afford to be reckless with in a permadeath game is actually pretty interesting. So that's that archer down, and in fact, it's just that guy left, and hopefully Sasha can only attack him from range. That's actually not good. Because that's still 35 attack power against 4. I actually don't know how effective this is calculated in this game, but you have 15 attack, steel bow. Oh, yeah, it will be triple might then, because you have 5 strength. So, yeah, it's triple might, just like it is in a lot of Fire Emblems. So, I wonder if I could lure you in with Samson and... Or, you know what, I think instead, I'm gonna have Sasha visit this house, because that will put her in melee range of that guy next turn. And this house is where I can talk about that really, really weird mechanic. Firstly, though, more of why this village is awful. This is giving me a serious Disney Robin Hood vibe, like stealing from the poor box. I mean, Utona might not help you right now directly, but Sasha will. I wonder how Sasha feels that she's actually getting to be a hero here. But yeah, you don't get to see the character's portrait here. It reminds me of, there are a few events in FE7 that are interesting because they change very slightly in their dialogue based off of who initiates them, like who visits that village. But this one, you have the option to pay 600 gold to refurbish her, to replace the money she lost. This is one of several, I'll refer to these as Good Samaritan events in this game. They work the same way, but what happens is, by doing a good deed here, the character initiating it gets +1 luck, which isn't actually told to you, but it has happened. But also, any cursed weapons across your entire army are cleansed and are no longer cursed. So, what's a cursed weapon? Well, cursed weapons in this game work the same way the Devil Spear does. Except the Devil Spear can't be uncursed, and there's really no reason why you'd want to uncurse it, because Zeeg can use it with no penalty. But I'll talk more about this after this village, because this one is interesting. Yes, by hellhole you mean, again, wretched hive of scum and villainy. Technically speaking, this place is still a thriving spot of entertainment, it's just not the entertainment that deserves to exist ever. Because yeah, there are, you know, singers, dancers, but yeah. Gloomy, quiet, and full of human traffickers. Don't laugh, we have people like Sasha and someone who can't die with us. We'll definitely clean up this town. But this is a very good thank you present. It's a hero crest, which Samson can use right now. And I think even if he gets attacked by... No, he can only get attacked by one of them anyway, but... oh, and they're all going to go for Shigen regardless, probably, but... Still. Or Holmes could try and snipe with a longbow, which, speaking of -12 attack speed, wow. Speaking of which, is another one of the items that I'm going to have to give up later for that side quest, which is really annoying. Although, if it all works out, I'll be getting something out of it that is basically a longbow, but even better. And it's pretty much the only reason to do the side quest. I've never gotten any playthrough before, though, so I kind of want to try and see if, like, this will be my first time ever showing it, hopefully. Like, I mean, it's normally not that worth it, but it is a pretty good weapon overall. I guess I can move you up a little bit. I don't think, like, something tells me that there might be reinforcements in this map, but then again, I actually don't think there are. Okay. I think for now, she's just gonna flit over here. Also, she's ready to be promoted, but promoting Pegasus Knights is a bad thing. So, yeah. Not going to bother with that. So here we can buy door keys. Now, these aren't going to be useful now because we're in a party that has a force deployed lockpicker. But later on in the game, door keys are going to be really helpful. You might want to buy some while you still have the chance. And I have gold bags, I can probably afford to buy 3 now. They're more useful for Runan's party, but Holmes at least can get some, but yeah, later on, we're really going to want door keys, so that's why I'm stocking up now. Unfortunately, chest keys don't exist in this game, and I really wish they did, because that would make, that would make Chapter 8 so much less tedious. So, this village conversation is something that I find really interesting. The fact that most of the ruffians who are, you know, attacking this place and doing unspeakable things to the civilians were former soldiers. Who just deserted and started raiding places. This kind of thing, I mean, I don't want to get too far into this, but I have seen enough history to know that this happens in most real wars. It usually happens on both sides, and it's part of the reason why I just cannot abide by a certain character's actions and philosophy in a recent Fire Emblem game, let's just say, because in any war, it is always going to encourage people to do this. It just always happens, from what I've seen of history, and it's just really horrifying, the kind of things that soldiers tend to do to civilian populations that they get their hands on. They really just use it as free reign to engage in just any kind of depravity they want. But, okay, yeah, let's just not go into that, because that's going to get really, really dark. Anyway, Shigen died again, so +1 to the counter. And I was talking, so I didn't get to say anything about that, but, okay, that's a total of 3 uses of Dullahan, which is a little annoying, but I mean, I guess it was kind of worth it for a free full heal on Shigen. So yes, like I said, Sasha is now in range to whack this guy with the Killing Edge, and this should be, yes, guaranteed hit, and this does one round this guy. I know because I've played the chapter before. You know, I'm actually starting to think that it might have been for the best that I lost the original footage. For one, you're going to get a really hilarious fail channel. Oh, I was hoping for strength, but defense is actually not bad either. But also, I went on a lot of weird tangents last time, and I feel like, yeah, I'm talking about the actual gameplay now, instead of that. So anyway, most of the enemies here are gone, but unfortunately, these guys are annoyingly hard to double. That's not going to be enough. The S-Stock will double you, though, but is it... Oh, no, you have a shield, so obviously that's... that's extremely annoying. Vega has only 5 move. I mean, I kind of need to get you with Shigen, but at the same time, that runs the risk of Shigen dying again. Because I can't even get Holmes in a position to snipe. I mean, I suppose Holmes could longbow this guy, though. Level ups on Holmes aren't super important because he's already kind of strong enough as is. But he does become very good once he gets his story-based promotion. I mean, yeah, he's pretty much about on our level at this point. I mean, like, on the average party level right now. No, it's probably... I shouldn't just kill off Shigen again for the memes. I mean, I could. How many uses does Dullahan have? It's getting a little low. Yeah, it's actually getting close to half. I mean, it does have a bit of a monopoly on repairing staffs, though. Why not? Now, if Shigen does die, the round of combat should end immediately, I think, so I'll need to finish this guy off with Martel. Or I could activate Adept, and Shigen won't even die. Nice. So I suppose fortune favors the bold when you're Shigen. I normally do not play by that rule at all when it comes to games with permadeath. I normally play very cautiously, but when you've got somebody who resurrects on death, then, you know, you can afford to be like, my head can't say what the opposite of cautious is, but, like, yes, uncautious. The armory here sells pylons, but I can access it from the world map later anyway. Oh, if I don't kill that guy, he's going to attack Sasha, and I'll lose experience, but... Actually, though, 8 defense, Sasha's only got 5. He's probably going to go for Sasha anyway. But I can try and... I guess I'll go for the Shield Blade. Don't know if it's really worth it to have Treasury heal somebody now. In my test run, I accidentally used the Zombie Staff and thus lengthened the enemy turns. Zombie Staff might be somewhat useful in this map, though. And yes, we do have the Palm event, but we are getting into a good position to, I think, in a couple of turns we'll see that. This is a Seas map, though, and the boss is actually annoyingly difficult to shift. But Samson has a Hero Crest and he's level 10. I'm gonna use this on Samson just because it's not like a like it's just increase in stats and 1 movement, but he does have Frontiersman, and I want as many strong Frontiersman characters as I can get. And that promotion theme is still great. So he hasn't, like, gained bows or anything, but he's pretty strong now. In fact, I often see Samson cap strength, skill, and speed. They're that good, but... he's already, like, basically strong enough to take on a lot of the game, even at this, in this state. And again, Frontiersman. So yeah, that's my second Hero Crest used, but we might get a third at the end of this chapter as well. So... for how many good characters promote with them, they are at least very generous with Hero Crests. I had a feeling you'd do that, but oh well. Oh, Vantage and Adept, nice. Which wasn't enough to... I mean, you wouldn't have finished him otherwise, but... I mean, I lost experience there, but at least it's 1 less enemy. Speaking of experience, though... let us use the Occult Book. So now she can go up to level 30, which is basically all you need for this game overall. And that's her level up history so far. Yeah, because I should mention that there is a late game boss in this game who... I said game twice, but anyway, there's a late game boss who has... he has 7 attack speed, and that's considered very, very high. Which should tell you, like, that Sasha's attack speed is complete overkill at this point. Like, she's got 18 attack speed. That is completely ridiculous. That's enough to double almost everything in the game. So, yeah, overall, I think we've visited all of the houses at this point, except for, you know, the house. There's also the arena, and I did bring Tom on my first playthrough to abuse the arena, but I don't have him here. Oh no, I am at the point where I did the thing and screwed up horribly when I did my first attempt at this. So this thief, I think I'll do this. Amazingly, I have this high of a hit rate, even though he has a main gaunt, which is kind of insane. I haven't mentioned it in this playthrough because I think it's yeah, that weapon existed in FF12 and I talked about it there, but it literally means left hand. It's like a parrying dagger you're supposed to use in your offhands to parry enemy sword strikes. But we've got that, and now... Oh boy, I have to not screw up this time. I'm going to make a save state and show both versions of visiting this house. There we go, I did not mess that up. So, Bart's. And this is going to be the non-canon one, because visiting this with Bart's, in my opinion, screws up his epilogue. Oh boy, Bart, you're gonna see something that you never, 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 ever want to see. Hired, yes, that's the word. Stop applauding, please. Something people in the comments mentioned, and I completely forgot to talk about this back in Chapter 10, but, like, nobody comments that Plum is gone if she gets kidnapped in Chapter 10. It's really weird. Nobody says anything. Maybe if you bring Bart on that route, maybe he says something? Well, everyone was waiting for this. I'll talk about that later, but for now, I'll just say that event gives Bart and Plum an increase their support. However, I'm going to be doing it with Holmes instead, so see you back here for that version. Okay, rescuing Plum, take 2. Okay, so everything up to the dance is the same, just with Holmes instead of Bart's. Your conversation on Bart's version says otherwise. At least we get to see him get beaten up twice. I actually like the version with Holmes here because he specifically does this, like, he's not going for any one of them in particular. He actually wants to rescue all the dancers here. Like, again, Holmes has a really good heart when it comes down to it. So yeah, here they're being a little bit more hinting at gameplay mechanics. And it's interesting that Plum's a bit more reluctant here, whereas with Bart, she's like, screw you, I'm being a dancer. So, we finally know why I wanted to get Plum kidnapped earlier. Plum is the dancer of this game. And now you know why I was so annoyed that I missed recruiting her in my first playthrough. Yeah, I missed the game's dancer. Oh, okay, I have her animations turned off. She does have an animation for this. It is the same as what you saw in that cutscene, though. But dancing works the same way it does in that other series that Saga developed. It gives an ally an additional turn. There's something more, though, to Plum's dancing, and it's actually pretty bizarre. So, dancing in this game not only gives an ally an additional turn, but it also has a very small chance of giving them an Empower, Ensorcel, or Enarmor effect. The chance is so small that in all of my 3 playthroughs of this game, I've never seen it happen. But it is a thing that can happen, so just bear that in mind. The chances of it happening increase depending on how many times Plum has danced. And I think she needs to, like, the maximum number of dances that are counted are, like, well, Xeno's crit rate is really high. I think it's because he's getting a support from Treasury, but yeah. The maximum number of dances that are counted is 255. So if for some reason you wanted, like, I think really the main, like, chance of, this getting high enough, to really see those buffs happen is if you grind a lot in skirmishes. Oh, speaking of which, I forgot to talk about the whole curse thing and how that works. I got a little bit caught up in the other events of this chapter. But yeah, so speaking of grinding a lot in skirmishes, so curse weapons. When a weapon reaches 100 kills, it will either turn into a blue star weapon, which I don't think really does anything other than signify the weapon has 100 kills. It might mean that you can't repair it with repair hammers, like or smith's hammers, as they're called in this translation, but I don't know. Or it will become a red star weapon, and red star weapons act like devil weapons. They can backfire and damage you rather than the enemy. Also, yeah, Plum has a support with Holmes now, but I think it's one-sided. And if you do a Good Samaritan event, like the one in this house, then it will cleanse all cursed weapons among your army. But you're very unlikely to see a weapon get to 100 kills unless you either, use, like, I have footage from a test playthrough of, me, getting the wooden bow from Luca's events to 100 kills in the arena with Holmes in this chapter. So it's either that bow, or it is, that you just grind a lot in skirmishes, and I'm just... Like, the inner workings of Kaga's mind are an enigma, honestly. And I have no idea why he made this mechanic, but it's just like, you won't see this whole curse cleansing mechanic be useful unless you just grind... Like, did he really expect you to grind in skirmishes over and over and buy smith's hammers to just keep repairing the same weapons? It's just such a strange mechanic that will almost never be seen in a casual playthrough, but... Just like Plum randomly giving somebody a buff by dancing. It's a really tiny chance of that happening, but it's another mechanic in this game. Some people say that this game is like what happens when Kaga is just fully unfiltered, when he just gets free range to do whatever the heck he wants without having a team to rein him in, and overall though, I do really think that, I do like the gameplay, in spite of its eccentricities. Some of its eccentricities just make it all the more fun. And it's fun to talk about them, too. So yeah, again, Holmes actually does have a good heart where it counts. He is definitely a classic jerk with a heart of gold. But something interesting is about to happen. The end of this chapter, if you are playing on an emulator, I would recommend that you save state here. There are a huge number of chests here. I'm very surprised that none of the bandits got into this treasury. We can only choose 5 chests. Now, thankfully, this isn't, like the gambling minigame in Link to the Past. There is something good in all of these. Oh, hey, we have the Mirror of Oculus, and he has no stats, but for some reason he still has 14 score, which I think is just his HP or something. He does have infinite move in this map, though, just as Holmes does. So, there are a lot of guides out there that tell you exactly what is in all of the chests. So, I'll probably flash it up on screen what's in all of them. It's probably easiest to split it into the 2 halves. I've made my save states, so which chests am I going to get? I've made my save state, now which chests am I going to get? That is the question. There are a lot of gold bags here, which are the booby prizes, I suppose, but there are some useful promotion items too, and one of them that I definitely want is the Hero Crest, which is in this chest, I believe. Yep, there it is. Now, one space above it is the Knight Crest. But I'm just thinking about this. If you have Lionel, definitely take that and use it to promote him. But there's one person that I want to promote with a Knight's Crest, but we get one for free in Chapter 16. We also get a Hero Crest in Chapter 16. Actually, no, there's a Mage promoting item in Chapter 16. I think there's also a Hero Crest there. Yes, there is one in Chapter 16. And that's an open all chess map, so you're forced to get it. However, over here is an Azoth. I want to take that, because it is needed for that item trading side quest, and getting another, like, Azoth by other means is not easy. You can actually make one via the item trading quest, but that requires you to give up even more items, or you can get one randomly as a random chest reward in skirmishes, so I'm not going to really want to go for that. In this chest, there is a Master Potion, which I need for that item trading quest, but we also get one of those for free in a later skirmish map. So I don't need to take that one now, either. You know, honestly, I may as well grab the Saint Robes. Or Sage's Cloak, actually. Yeah, I was thinking of the earlier translation. Oh, hang on a minute. If I want to promote Bilford, I need a Knight Crest. Yeah, I mean, just so I can show that later, I might as well grab that. I may go back on this later, but strength boost? And that'll be the 5 chests. The sad thing is, even though we're always welcome here, we haven't quite cleaned up Orcus Village just yet. In my test playthrough during this map, I had Lionel, and Lionel is very, very fun in this chapter because he has Urbanite, so he moves further, and he can use things like javelins and stuff without... Would that have killed him if that had hit? I almost... Wow, Yep, oh, I lost my shield though. So that's annoying. And now we have access to 2 different versions of the same events, which I'm going to make a save state for right now. No way. No! Oh! Oh!